Russian forces, we're seeing, have bombarded areas surrounding the Ukrainian capital. It's coming several hours after they had pledged to scale back operations in the area. The attacks have reduced optimism about the chances of a diplomatic solution to the conflict. Let's take you live now to Odessa. CNN reporter Ed Lavandera joins us now. Ed, we appreciate your time. What are you hearing is happening on the ground? It seems like some of these early hopes have been dashed.
Well, many people here in the southern part of Ukraine, and specifically Odessa, where we are, which is a coastal city on the coast of the Black Sea, really kind of anxiously watching what is happening in the north around Kyiv and all of this talk of Russian forces redeploying their resources, and exactly what does that mean? When is it going to happen? And what are they going to do with those resources? Early on in the war, there was a great deal of concern, and it appeared that one of the strategies that Russia was going to implement was try to move along the southern edge of this country, along the Black Sea from Mariupol, which is a city, as we well know, has been besieged and just leveled by Russian forces. But Russian forces have been stalled out about halfway between here, where we are in Odessa, and Mariupol. They haven't been able to really push beyond Kherson. But there is still a great deal of concern and a great deal of anxiety as to will those forces in the north be redeployed into this region, and will they once again try to push into Odessa and claim the kind of all of the land connecting to the Black Sea, essentially making Ukraine a landlocked country. So that is what many people around here are kind of anxiously watching. It's been a relatively quiet few days here in Odessa, but people also know that that could quickly change.
Oh, absolutely. How much faith can we put in those Russia-Ukraine peace talks? Do we have a new date for the next round?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I was just hoping for an update on the progress we've seen on those Russia-Ukraine peace talks and the plan in terms of the next step.
Well, right, my apologies. We heard from the head of the Ukrainian delegation who has said that on Friday, April 1st, they will resume talks online. But the head of the delegation is also saying that it is time for Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky to meet face-to-face, preferably in Turkey, somewhere that is not Russia or Belarus. But even though the head of the delegation is calling for that, we've also been told by other sources that there hasn't been a total breakthrough yet in these communications and in these talks. But it does appear that both sides are ready to get together once again on Friday.
And just finally, Ed, in terms of the people there fleeing Ukraine, what sort of scale are we seeing in terms of people trying to escape? And where you are on the ground in Odessa, for example, are people keen to get out, or are they holding their spot and waiting to see how things play out?
Well, you know, now more than a month into the invasion here in Ukraine, I had spent a couple of weeks reporting on the Polish-Ukrainian border, and we had seen the numbers of refugees beginning to slow down. There was still a steady stream of people leaving. But as we drove into Odessa earlier today, we noticed, in many ways, life, if you kind of take individual snapshots of around the city, life can seem pretty normal at times, even though there are large parts of the city that are barricaded off by military forces, multiple checkpoints getting into the city. But, you know, you drive around the interior of the city and there are people walking around, going to parks. There is a sense, you know, if you are here at this point, you're probably trying to wait it out to see exactly what is going to be happening next. There were many people in some of the more besieged areas and areas that had seen some of the worst fighting relocate internally. Millions of people internally displaced as they wait and figure out exactly how much longer this is going to take and what is going to unfold next. So that's kind of the stage we're at. There's a little bit of a sense of defiance of the people who've chosen to stay here in Odessa, and to see just how much longer, will they be able to go back home, or do they need to escape to somewhere else? And that's kind of the stage they're at right now.
Ed Lavandera, live there in Odessa, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.